The Inside Scoop is back. Been 2 years, but since that last episode has been 2 weeks. So kind of it's getting slightly closer. I don't know if it's an exponential kind of decrease in how long it takes for us to produce an episode. Um, we might come back to doing it once a week. Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll see. Went from 2 years
Maybe.
to 2 weeks. We'll see.
In following the exponent pattern, how when would we need to do one now then? In 2 days or something?
Don't ask me such difficult questions.
Oh, dude, I've not done math in ages, even in uni, which we decided and agreed we're not going to talk about anymore. It's like Voldemort. You don't mention this word.
Yes, indeed. Uh,
we dove in depth last week, and we're moving on from then on. So, how you been since our last catch up?
yeah, man, been alright. Continuing to, as we spoke about last week, trying to hit my goal each week of making a certain amount of money, working a certain amount of hours. That's been kind of thwarted by my phone breaking last week. This week it was by I'm in like a slight knee injury, but I was able to push through it just a little with more caution. But that's how I've been since our last recording. How you been?
Oh, geez, I didn't know any of that actually. Um, no, myself, I've been alright. Been busy. The current company I work for, Unity, we've just launched a new product, so it's gotten a bit busy. It's gotten hectic. It's like, trying to finish up all those features before pushing it out through the door and then replanning some stuff and the corpo. Just this kind of stuff.
And so you've released it already? Are you a bit more relaxed now?
Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah, so we released this kind of server authoritative behavior for the whole game backend. If you are making a game using Unity or not necessarily, you can just kind of have us handle all of your backend needs. So yeah, it was this kind of bigger launch that been brewing for quite a while. So it's good. Yeah, now this week we're having a, so to speak, dog fooding session or a taste the soup session. It's like that's how they call it, which is like, try the products you're making yourself so that you would know, you'd be the first line of defense, or so to speak, before all of this gets out to customers. Because if you don't try products that you're making, then like what the hell?
You just get your customers to try them and report
Yeah, no,
back.
it's definitely there's a lot of true. There's a lot of products that are being tested in production, and I remember of this X-ray machine back in the 80s or whatever time it was. Like there's this scary video, one of those YouTube videos where it has like a scary ambient music and like all sorts of like gloomy graphics, and it's just spooky. And back then, people thought that code doesn't fail. Like software can never fail. Hardware, sure, like it can break. Software never fails. And they allowed this one single hobbyist guy to program the thing in assembly. And like literally like they produced that machine. It was this big X-ray, some sort of ion therapy machine. Like it was like, you know, giving therapy to people through radiation or something. And yeah, the committees and everyone else was like, wait a minute, so how like did you guys test it? And they're like, oh yeah, absolutely. The testing has been rigorous. We've spent 2,700 hours or so testing, etc. But they missed one point: is that the testing was performed by the operators in hospitals after it was actually already assembled and it was live on patients. So it's like, oof, I don't know if I would want to get under some sort of a machine like that where the company that made it is claiming, oh yeah, we've tested it, kind of. Like, so it's horrible, man.
So you've definitely had a lot of programming experience, a lot more than in your 4 years of uni, probably in the last 2 years. Uh, so I'm wondering, what have you been up to?
So first of all, I graduated uh, at, during pandemic, first of all, right? So graduated during pandemic. That was a very different kind of climate, especially in the tech industry where everyone was learning this kind of unheard of, remote working. And definitely remote work has been already a thing for a while, but it's not really been so prominent. But the government then said, yeah, guys, you just cannot keep doing it. So the sector adapted, right? So I graduated during pandemic. I go into my first job. It was NCR. It was this big kind of financial giant, finance technology company. So they do ATMs. They do all sorts of like self-checkout machines, in shops, and then they provide some cloud stuff, just the usual for a huge, multi 10,000 people company. Um, yeah, so I go through my welcoming program, the orientation program, and I haven't seen my colleagues in real life for like months afterwards. Definitely not how I expected my first tech job to be, because I've always been, kind of taught that, yeah, you graduate, you get a job. Instead of going to uni 5 days a week, now you start to go to the office 5 days a week, right? Um, and then, yeah, I stayed with that company for 10 or so months until it's kind of a better opportunity presented itself. Unity, company that I've used their products for many, many years. Back in school, 10 years ago, I first opened up the Unity editor and kind of learned how to program, etc. So to be able to work for the company was such a blessing in a way. It was like, wow, now it's a full circle. I learned to program using their tools, and now 10 years later, I am employed by them. Yeah, no, it was insane. It was great. So definitely that was another change, and I think that happened like what, one and a, maybe 1 year and like 4, 5,
Yeah,
one and a
that's
half.
good enough.
I can't even remember. Let's just say 1.5 years ago. So yeah, I've theoretically been in the industry for like, yeah, two years something, right? And yeah, that's pretty much where I am today. As I opened this podcast up with, the hell's been going on. We're launching things. Um, going, we're constantly, organizational changes are happening. Our CEO literally retired like last week or so. Like, it's it's wow. Like loads of stuff is happening, and it's a rapid place. The industry is rapid, and
Mm.
there's either a lot to talk about or nothing at all. It's like, I don't know. Even for example, working in the games industry, I'm sure you know that crunch time is a thing.
Yep.
Any game developer is required to just sit there until like 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. If they're releasing a game, they have to go do it. Um, so when I meant that, yes, the week was busy and we needed to launch a product, it's nothing like that, because we don't make games, right? We make tools that enable game developers. So it's the closest role that I can kind of take in the industry, to games, without yet getting into that kind of a big, like crazy schedule, um, of working in the actual games design or games programming industry, right? Um, but yeah, no. Other than that, that was kind of the quick rundown of what happened. Been through two companies.
So is that something that you've actually considered to work in the games industry?
No, I don't think
Or
so. I don't think I've ever really
no?
been. Oh wow, let me just kind of
You
work.
have had a short spell of working on a game. Remind us.
Oh geez, I think it was during podcast times itself. Yeah.
You don't look back fondly.
It was a good time. I learned a lot, definitely, but I kind of lost myself.
That when you were trying to do this project, and I remember we talked a lot about motivation then, and how you were trying to, keep yourself putting a little more work all the time into this, or every now and then. I don't know how you actually. Maybe you can talk about it. I can't. But nowadays you have another project that you seem very passionate about, and the fruits of that have really shown. The fruits of that labor. So how would you compare like the motivation, or maybe the lack of motivation and comparison that you had for your first project, like your game project, the Squirrel Forest, and what you're doing now?
So with Squirrel Forest, definitely I've had a huge burst of motivation. There was kind of a deadline after, because it was the games programming module. It was develop a game, kind of ship it, or well, it wasn't really that. It was more like, yeah, design it, develop it, show it to us, get a mark. But afterwards, I just kept making it, and I really didn't know how to make games. I knew how the whole concept works of small indie games. I've released a couple of smaller, tiny experiences, just these little kind of games. But I decided that this is gonna be my magnum opus or whatever, the big creation of one's life is called. And definitely, I wasn't experienced enough to do it right. And when comparing to the current project, which is Forkta, that is a tool that enables food businesses to kind of, stay compliant and like very much we're hoping to make this emerging tech product where people can, open up their phone and like do their freezer checks or some sort of like daily cleaning check, just all sorts of everything. And then traceability comes into play, et cetera, et cetera. I think the biggest difference here was having a partner that was kind of there. With the project, with the game project, right? I was all alone. And sure, I was streaming on Twitch. There were people that were coming in, going, and it was a nice kind of keep yourself sane moment to talk to those people, but it was never really, hey, you're accountable. And I spoke about accountability to the module professor um, just now, meaning there was some sort of an accountability where, yeah, you're going to get a grade, you're going to get a mark after this, so you need to do it. So in the beginning, it was like that. Someone said, here's a module, here's the course that you need to do, etc., etc. You're going to get a grade, here you go do it. And I really like went all in for it. And then afterwards, slowly, it just kept like, I just didn't know the right ways to do it. And I didn't know what the right correct motivations were. And I think in the future, we can chat about stuff like that in the podcast. Like, what is the right motivation to do things? I didn't necessarily want like fame or success. Or no, I just wanted to have a game that people played. And I wanted to tell a story about these two squirrels, right? But that's it. That's where it ended. And I should have known way more before actually going into something like that.
Do you think you learned a lot through doing it, or how otherwise do you think you would go about learning the stuff beforehand?
Yeah, so definitely, and what I was just saying, like, I think if I had a partner back then, I could have potentially.
I thought that was a big one because you often talked about that community, and even move into a different area where it's more entrepreneurial or something.
Definitely, but it's true. See, like if I had someone that said, yeah, even if we like split the game 50-50, be it development, be it cost, be it even profit, but at least there would be someone else that kind of motivates you as well and says, hey, look, today I created this cool mechanic. Like, what about this? And so to your question of what would one learn from this, I feel like I learned a lot. Definitely. I did learn how to kind of develop games, how to like run them through this whole publishing process through Steam, etc. I didn't fully finish it. So it has its Steam page, it has everything, all the graphics, some marketing, etc. But it's not something you can go buy and play. That's kind of the skills that I lacked. But definitely, there's a multi-billion-dollar industry doing all of that. There's big publishers, there's big marketing companies, etc. So how could I have expected myself, a university student, to like do this whole thing that huge companies with a lot of budget and personnel do, right? But even if that's what I learned, even if that is exactly what I learned, that you cannot just do it all by yourself, I don't know. There's a lot of successful indie creators that can do it, but I just probably wasn't the one.
Probably takes a lot of dedication just to one thing, and not doing much else.
Yeah, it's very true. Very true. And with the current project, what's good is that I have a business partner who's keeping me sane, and we're just kind of handling all parts of it. He's more into the whole sales, marketing, and kind of bring customers on board. Let's come with some ideas, etc. And I'm definitely more tech oriented, to like responsible for more of the technological solutions in there, etc. But I'm trying to get more into the business side, and he was trying to get more into the tech side. So I think that's very, very important, is to have a partner, a business partner, but also someone who is slightly different, or at least has different strengths. Because they always say in business, like, if you cannot do something, you can definitely outsource it. Like you're eventually gonna be able to find someone who, you know, makes good art for your game. So that's another thing that I didn't admit with the game. Just, quickly coming back to it to finish up, um, is that I'm gonna do everything myself because I want to learn everything. Yeah, and that was a mistake because I don't know how to do 3D art. I don't know how to do, you know, how to draw a squirrel, and I'm not great at art. So definitely there was better people that I could have reached out to and, somehow found a way to like, hey, you help me with the art, I'll do this game, blah blah, like we can talk, right?
I'm guessing those people would just need to have focus on just the skills to develop a game all on their own,
Oh,
and
definitely.
dedicate just all effort to developing those skills, and probably not focusing much on anything beyond that. And maybe they just had a lot of the right skills already.
Definitely, yeah. There's inspiring people like Thin Matrix or other people who create games completely purely by themselves. Um, they publish their games, I think, every week or so on Patreon, like incremental update. Here's this YouTube video that they make, and then like Patreon supporters get to see a glimpse of this current build, and etc. And so it's like you can see their whole process, and it's crazy how they go in, they make their own model. They go and and they don't even use a game engine. They just use Java and they just write the whole thing. And it's just,
Mhm.
wow, like that's art, right? That's cool. But at the same time, they run a business with all of that. They know how to do marketing and Patreon and how to film these videos and edit them and make it aesthetically like, yeah, there's probably people with these very kind of specific skill sets, and they're successful in
Mhm.
those industries, I guess.
A full-time job, and you're doing this project that's taking up a lot of your time as well. Like, how are you finding, I suppose, like all the, are you full of energy still after all of this? How are you finding the motivation to just put those extra hours in after work?
Yeah, I'll be honest. Sometimes I just feel more passionate about that project than my work, which means just waiting so I can, so to speak, clock out and then you know put in that kind of effort on my own project. Like work is just something that pays the bills. You have a contract with someone else, a company that you're selling your time. You you abide by the contract. You work your hours, etc. But there's always going to be more work, and there's always going to be it's kind of someone else's work. It's working for someone else. It's just doing what they tell you to do in a way, except you get compensated, right? Um, but here, I feel like I control everything. That's why I love it so much, is because I come in and the whole code base you know, from the whole server, because we recently migrated servers as well, from the servers to like, you know, database, Kubernetes, the whole cluster, hosting, like backend, whole API and front, like everything's just designed by me and my business partner, right? So I know everything. As opposed to you go to a bigger company and you look at their code base and it's like huge, like massive, tens of thousands of people contribute to it, and like, those people come and those people leave the company, and there's like these huge code bases that you wouldn't be able to write by yourself as a single person. The same way, to comprehend such things, it also, you couldn't just sit there and learn the whole code base of the whole, let's say, Unity project, right?
Mhm.
Meaning, starting small is probably the key in here. Yeah, so that's been my kind of last 2 years ish. What about yourself? I know we kind of spoke about the Voldemort word, which
Right.
we're kind of moving away from. And as far as I'm aware, as we chatted, you chose to do more of a manual labor, choosing to do food deliveries now, if I understand correctly, for now.
Yeah. I mean, that was the obvious choice for me because I've felt it's just one of those jobs that has a lot of benefits, purely just physical and mental. Um, and that's what I was needing to work on at the time. So my pretty much mental health situation is coming, dropping out of uni. The Voldemort word. Um, uh, yeah, it just needed. I mean, that was it's obvious choice for me as well because I struggle in different environments. I, have my social anxiety, so this is a very easy job for me. I kind of set a level every day of how much I want to interact with people. Um, and most of that is like kept to a minimum, like where I see the same people all the time. Like at restaurants, I try not to set a bar too high for how much they can expect for me in terms of like uh interaction. How chatty I'm gonna to be with them and stuff. So the next day it doesn't seem like I don't like them anymore or something. You know what I mean? Like when I stand there quietly and don't make conversation.
Right.
But that's such a weird tangent for me to take right now.
But now that you've already started it, I cannot not mention it. The situation that I saw when
Yeah.
we actually met in person, and I was just buying food from a takeout place, and the person serving you, a lady just handed you cookies and smiled at you. I don't know, you didn't need to say a word, and she didn't either. But I was like, "Ooh, Oscar, you know her?" And it's definitely like a place for you to, I guess, meet people and other service workers, I suppose.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I say that I don't have to in this job interact with people. I don't. I think, but I think there's also I have kind of an anxiety for applying for jobs and stuff, and this was very easy to apply for.
Right.
I'm kind of like I'm not gonna get jobs because I'm not interested that much in people, and I'm not maybe coming across as somebody people would want to work with. Um, so and this was just like application online. You never speak to anybody.
Damn. So
And also I love the job too, but
just like the application started not needing to speak to people, and the job itself follows through with that, right?
yeah, and the only one, yeah, pretty much. But it ends up being actually meeting a lot more people than you would in a lot of jobs probably. Not just the people that you deliver to, but like, I'm seeing all the stuff from every restaurant uh that I'm picking up the food from. Well, if I was to work at the restaurant, I'd just know the people in that restaurant mostly as my workmates, but my workmates are every people at every restaurant.
Oh, damn. So you can't
I don't
avoid
know.
people. But it's very surface
No, but it's
level
cool. That's cool.
interactions, isn't it?
Very surface level, yeah, that's cool. Uh, and it's just, I set the bar, and it's been very good for my mental health and working through my social anxiety. Same thing with like when you deliver to people, it's also like couple of seconds of interaction, but the energy that you give them, you usually get that energy back. If you're really cheery and you're like, "Hey, here's your food, enjoy, have a nice day," you usually get like, "Oh, you too," whatever. And I feel that's like a positive experience, and it's a good thing for me to overcoming my social anxiety. Kind of just lots of small positive experiences, and that kind of builds me up. Like sometimes I have a rough day, and I'll just like to I think I've kind of made a connection. I'm having a rough day. I'll be like overly nice. Like I'll be like try as hard to be nice and come across as nice as possible when I'm delivering the food because I know I'm probably gonna get the same energy back, and I do, and it's great. And that can like totally change how I'm feeling that day.
Oh, so it's like
Yeah.
you just start getting the energy back from people that you deliver to, and that impacts your own mood.
Yeah. Like I mean even yesterday, and it's become like such an automatic thing when something's happened that I'm kind of like upset about, or I'm angry or sad. I don't that energy doesn't go into my next interactions in with a person that I'm delivering to. I'm not like, hey, here's your food, whatever. Instead it's like the complete opposite. I'm like more cheery than I normally would be. Like normally I'd be like, oh, it's just another delivery. Hi, here's your food, enjoy, blah blah. But instead I'm like, more cheery about this one because I just had something like that I'm not happy about that's happened. Maybe I received like some news or a message or something, and then yeah, I can get some this positive interaction and everything changes.
Right. Do you think that this also then, so you did mention this helps you with mental health, etc. Would you recommend this job
Yeah.
to people that, I don't know, struggling with depression
Yeah.
or some sort of a,
Uh, yep, I definitely would. I've actually spoken to like at least two people who had the same experience about this job, who said they've been struggling with mental health, and that's this job has really helped them. I think it makes sense. We often talk about oh, exercise is important for mental health. That's kind of everybody kind of accepts that, right? It makes sense. Exercise is a good thing, right? Everybody accepts that. It's probably good for your mental health.
Yeah, I heard that before.
Um, it definitely gives you like immediately like if you do exercise, intense exercise, maybe for like a few hours, you do feel definitely like the uh more positive from that.
Yeah.
Whether long term it actually um itself helps your mental health. I I don't know
Oh
like
no, I
like
definitely
the
see
science
like
on
you
that,
you get the endorphin
but
rush, and if your mind body connection, your mind controls your body, right? So if you can kind of go and exercise and then you, I don't know, I don't want to say your body controls the mind, but that's also kind of true. And then you just
yeah,
strengthen
but
that connection,
yeah,
and if you feel good, you exercise good. If you had a good workout, you're
yeah.
feeling tired, your mind is then like, oh, nice, like, muscles are tired, but the mind is still fresh. Like, yeah, no, it's great.
The benefits of this job is the exercise and it's for my mental health, how it affects that. But also, when if it's even just that kind of surge of feel good chemicals or whatever that I get, that feeds into like my interactions with people. If I'm more happy in the moment, I'm actually I've become more confident from all this positive feelings. I'm more optimistic about the world, I suppose, about potential of of things, where things can go and stuff. Uh,
Definitely exercising, and I started going to the gym myself actually. Now speaking about the past 2 weeks, I signed up.
mhm.
I think like a week ago. Signed up. Although no, can't remember. I think I signed up on Wednesday or so. Yeah, so it's not been too long, but yeah, signed up last week and decided to kind of try to go before work. Um, so I'll be attempting to actually like do morning workouts and wake up. But what I noticed is that it's winter. Winter's coming,
Mhm.
and I know I mentioned winter's coming last week, last episode, but now I actually like realize what that means. Is an extra hurdle in my way to actually get up early in the morning and go to the gym because it's cold. Like you know, you can do it all summer long. Wake up as early as you want. It's still warm. Here, the winter it gets quite chilly, but I feel like dealing with such uncomfortableness might build character, whatever. So they say, you know. Yeah, I'll definitely try. Yeah, so I've only gone to the gym at like 6 a.m. once. Otherwise, I was going later because just stuff was getting in the way. But I'm
Mhm.
really hoping to get back to like not even get back, because I mean I've only had like what 5 days and I've been there like 3 times or something like. So it feels great, especially that this gym has, heat shock proteins. That's where it's all about. The gym has a sauna. The gym has a steam room, a jacuzzi. There's a pool. Oh, dude, shock proteins. That's where it's all. That's where it's at. We've never heard about
Oh yeah, I definitely heard
it.
of it. Yeah,
Kind of
yeah.
using it in a meme sense, but it's true. Like some people are speaking about those heat shock proteins and how you need to like shock your body thermally, like go into a cold shower, go into like a hot sauna, etc. Um, and it's been good, yeah. Just sweating it out in the gym, and then going into the steam room, relax there, no cell phone, no watch, no anything. Walk in there. It feels like a meditative environment. Like it's great. I'm definitely gonna try to
Sounds good,
keep
man.
it up until next time. And I don't know if we wanna wrap it up here and then kind of do a catch up next week. Hopefully I can say that, oh yeah,
We
absolutely, I've
could,
done
yeah.
it every single morning, etc. Like I know that it won't be like that, but at the same time, especially after coming back to gym in a while, like my muscles were sore, dude. There still are. Like it's one of those where you need to give yourself some rest every so often. Like it's like, exercise a day and then the other days a rest and etc. But I don't necessarily have like a exercise regime or a program just yet.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a personal trainer?
There is availability for personal trainers, and we were scheduled for one, but they canceled on us, and today we reschedule it. So it's like there's a first initial consultation where you can just talk to them for an hour, and then you tell them what you want, etc., and they make up the whole program depending on what you're kind of are you want to build muscle, lose weight, is it functional training, like this kind of stuff. So hopefully I'll get a chance to chat to one of them and actually like see what they think. But other than that, like, there's just as much advice on the
What is
internet.
what is your goal? You want to be buff like Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Well, kind of, but no, joking. I want general fitness. I want to just kind of feel better, and maybe build some muscle because I've always lacked some, top end muscle. I've had plenty of
Mm.
activity like running, skateboarding, and cycling. I used to do a lot of like my legs are fine. Problems in the upper body strength. So I want to kind of try and balance it out now, which actually
That's
comes
good.
back to you cycling all the time everywhere. How do your
Yeah,
legs look
the
like?
same problem.
Exactly.
Oh my god, I don't even know, dude. But yeah, I don't think about I think about it. I think about making up the top half, but I never really I have too many other things to worry about.
Yeah, exactly. It's a privileged way. It's a privileged thing to be able to just be like, you know what? These functional muscles in my legs for my cycling are required, but I want to build more so that I would feel balanced. It's more of like
Yeah,
you're working because they are your professional muscles in a way. It's like it's what's required for you
yeah.
to earn your living, right? So
Hmm.
funny, but it's weird that we are just like, oh yeah,
Yeah, need
build
another
more on the chest.
another job like moving houses or something, and you can build the top.
True, actually, yeah. You can counter it out.
Would
It's
not be
like
bad.
perfect functional
Yeah.
bodybuilding or whatever it's called. Like, yeah, but I think
Yeah.
we'll.
I mean, that's not a bad idea, you know. If you were struggling with mental health, why you got one job, that's definitely going to help you. Like, just from my personal experience and several people I spoke to as well. Maybe another physical labor job would be good as well. Uh, and then you get buff and you fix your mental health and everything all at once.
Fix your muscles, fix your health, and fix your wallet as well.
And you become a Chad.
So just to wrap up, the question is then if one physical labor job is better, or like one is better than zero for mental health, then are two, three, four jobs better than one?
Like, if you can make the money that you need to live, just what do you call wealth? Like, do you need to keep making more and more money, or are you happy with just a certain amount that allows you to live a certain like um good quality life? Then you could possibly part time do a physical labor job as long as those are available
Mm.
still, and um and a tech job. I don't know.
Your physical labor job actually like makes you buff and strong.
Right, the funny thing is, though, maybe not funny. The sad thing maybe is that you are providing a service mostly to people who are maybe just ordering food every now and again. But on the other hand, you also have people who probably are like once was struggling with ordering food a little bit too much.
Oh jeez. Oh no, we're coming back to those dark days.
Waking up and ordering food from my bed and staying in bed all day and ordering more food.
Well, maybe it's a perpetual cycle.
Yeah.
Maybe you wanna slip him a note that says, "Hey, I got you, bro. Come work for us."
Yeah. Oh man.
Well, let's just wrap it up for this week. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah. We kind of covered the past. Now we covered the present, and kind of the past for you as well. I think next we could probably talk about our aspirations, goals, plans.
Yeah, definitely. We can kind of chat about that. See accountability, another topic, because I think we learned from my squirrel forest how just having a partner in crime kind of to help you through, or at least just to check in, be like, okay, you said you're gonna go paint this canvas. Did you even put a
Mhm.
brush stroke on it? And then just
Yeah.
check in with them, because if a person says they want to do something and they don't, it's like, oh, what happened?
Yeah.
Are you okay? Like maybe you need a helping hand, etc. Yeah,
True.
shall see. Okay. It's been a pleasure. This has been
It was nice chatting.
the Inside Scoop. Bye bye.
Thank you.